The Philly cheesesteak, a staple in some American homes, and after today, I think it might be a staple in mine. If you've been a part of my channel for any length of time, you know that if we do a recipe, it's gotta be wild. So today, we're gonna put some moose in this Philly cheesesteak. I hope that you have fun watching this video. I'm Junie the Orange Huntress, and thanks for popping by. This recipe that I'm going to share with you today is not mine. It's from a lady in my women's hunting group. Every year at Christmas time, if you want to be a part of the recipe exchange, you just sign up and then you get messaged a whole bunch of addresses and then you can send off Christmas cards full of recipes. Well, actually, there's only one recipe per card generally, but they're all family favorites that we share with each other so that we can get more ideas for how to use our wild game. So this is the first time that I'm using this recipe, but from the sounds of it, it sounds amazing. Who doesn't love a Philly cheesesteak? And when I had posted a couple recipe options that I want to share with you, this was the top pick. So basically, I'm just cutting up a bunch of onions and peppers. I guess Philly cheesesteaks normally just do green peppers, but I only had one, so I grabbed a red pepper too. We have a family of 5, and with our kids being preteen, teenage ages, they need a lot of fuel for their bodies, so I am fine with making extra so that there is lots of leftovers. So if you want to stick around to the end of the video, I will show you how I perked it up and used it as another meal. Butter is a staple in our house, and thankfully it was also a staple in this recipe. So I added the butter to the pan, melted it down, and then added all my prepped veggies. You just want to cook these veggies until they're soft and tender, not mushy, because you're still going to need to cook them with the meat. And our family loves garlic, but I did realize that I did not have enough. When I do this recipe again, I will be popping in probably 3 or 4 extra heads of garlic just because our family really loves it. I did end up adding some garlic powder after I tasted it. If you love garlic, then maybe add a little bit more at the beginning. And it was at this point that I realized I should have probably had a bigger pan. So if you're doubling this recipe, you probably want something that is a lot deeper. This recipe is pretty simple on seasoning. It's like salt and pepper, some Worcestershire, and some beef broth. So pretty simple, straightforward, which can make it really quick on a busy night. Once everything is all added, she had said to let that simmer and thicken up a bit and then add some cornstarch. So I have never done this before, just adding it directly to a recipe without water, but it ended up mixing in really good. I needed about 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. I just kept tasting and making sure that everything was balanced, that it, didn't need more wort or didn't need more garlic, but I did add garlic powder and I did add more salt and pepper than what I had originally put in, and it was great. It looked hard to find provolone in my store, but I could not find any, so I ended up using Gouda, which smoked Gouda they suggested was the better option, but I could only find Gouda. So if you are in a pinch, Gouda or Monterey Jack also work very well. And here I'm prepping the pan. I buttered everything. I have my oven set for 350. Then I began to load up all the buns. Don't be sparingly, she said, about 2 tablespoons per bun. So I just filled to my heart's content thinking, I have hungry children and they're going to eat a lot. And don't forget about the cheese. I was pretty generous with that as well. I had a 400-gram block and I didn't even use all of it, so it went pretty far, which was great. And the last thing you're going to do is coat your buns with some melted butter. I love that. And I tried to put some garlic powder on top just to like zhuzh things up. Not a fan. But here they are, gooey and amazing, and listen to this crunch. So satisfying, and even more satisfying, a couple days later I had made these smashed potatoes and I put the rest of that meat on top and covered it with cheese. Oh my goodness, this was like so amazing. So if you have leftovers, this is a great way to use it. You could even put it over potato wedges, which I had done another time too, and that was really great. And then gave it some barbecue sauce, and boy, it was like next level. And the taste test, yep,
So good.
If you want to watch more wild game recipes, then click on this playlist right here. And if you want to choose the next recipe that's coming out, you can head to my community page for the next week, where you get to choose whether or not we're going to do venison crunch wraps or venison Swedish meatballs. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.